All right, we are live, Legacy Life family. Thanks so much for taking time to jump on to our Monday night team call. My name is David Helgeson. For those of us that haven't got the chance to meet yet, I live in still sunny, not yet dark, Phoenix, Arizona. So I appreciate everyone for jumping on. I wish I had a better tan, but I did just get back from our Alliance incentive trip in Cabo. My wife and I got back last night. Lots of Legacy Life members were representing out there. Great time. If you've not gotten the chance to earn an all expense paid trip through the Alliance, highly recommend it. The next one is going to be in Thailand. Super exciting. So it was an A+ experience. My wife and I have had the privilege of traveling, most places in the world. Got to experience some really cool places, and the Alliance did an A+ job, I will say, as far as running a wonderful incentive trip. It was an amazing, awesome resort, and all expenses paid, all kinds of cool gifts. It was really cool. So that's not what tonight's call is about, but just FYI, if you got any chance of getting on one of those in the years ahead, I highly recommend it. And it was just a really good time to get together with some of the other Legacy Life leaders as well over the past week. So now we're back. We're rock and roll. We do these calls every Monday night, and I have the privilege of starting the first of, I believe, a 3-part series going all things not just virtual, but specifically all things with a specific lead type ethos. And so as this call gets used in the weeks and months ahead, my hope is this, that whether you are brand new as an agent or you are trying to figure out how to turn the gas on your business and move towards having a month of production you've never had before, what would that look like if you wanted to virtually use Ethos leads? Just to give you a little bit of background, so I've been in life insurance now 2.5 years ish or so. I believe as of this recording, I'm in like the top 30, top 35 company wide within the Alliance as far as issue paid production for 2025. And as far as on the team Legacy Life, I think 3 or 4 of the first 6 months, I was either number 1 or number 2 as far as personal production. So I don't say that to impress you. I just say that to impress upon you that this isn't just being talked like in theory. If this works, it's not just kind of being talked of like, well, it'll sound good on a call, so let's go through it. It's more so. This is kind of what I'm doing. This is what some of the people that are having a lot of success. I got to chat with several people, not even on the Legacy Life team, that are doing a very similar thing, that are having massive sales. I'm talking, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 a month of issue paid volume, and the vast majority of that coming with all of these different people from these Ethos leads. So again, whether you're brand new, have no idea what's going on with Ethos, you don't even know what that is, or maybe you've been working these leads for several weeks, few months, and you're trying to figure out how can I pour gas on the fire. My hope, over the next 20 some minutes tonight is to at least start to uncover what it's going to take to go and have success. I love these leads for a few different reasons. If you have no idea what an Ethos abandoned cart lead is, Ethos is a life insurance company, and a lot of people go on there, and even without talking to a life insurance agent, they start filling out a form like they're going to buy the life insurance. Okay. So Joe Blow hears a radio ad or a TV commercial, something, and maybe sees a Facebook ad on his phone, and it's from Ethos, and they start filling out, trying to figure out what they can qualify for. Not only do they figure out what they can qualify for, they're going through putting their social security number, their address, their email, their phone number, all of this personal info, answering health questions, and getting all the way to what usually is a overpriced quote, in my opinion. And there's a variety of reasons things can go goofy. It might not be offering them enough coverage. It might just seem like it's too high of a price. Maybe a health condition kicked them out altogether. Sometimes these people get busy and they just haven't come back to finalize it yet. But they've started the application, put in a bunch of their information, maybe even got all the way to getting a quote, and they abandon finishing it. After a period of time, Integrity Marketing Group has these as a lead you can buy. It's called an Ethos abandoned cart lead. And so after they abandon the cart, you can buy it 0 to 30 days old, or you can buy it 31 to 90 days old. And so when you buy these leads, these people in whatever state you filled this out at, again, were looking for life insurance, had a very high intent to buy life insurance. They just, for whatever reason, abandoned their cart and didn't finish it. And so we come in being able to help them finish that process, and even more specifically, help them realize that we have other partner carriers that we at Legacy Life or the Alliance work with that can potentially maybe solve whatever they were looking for, that for whatever reason maybe this online AI generated quote did not solve for them. So that's roughly the background of what's going on. So there's lots of leads, and truth be told, there's good and bad in everything out there. These ethos leads no different, but they are very high intent. So to get somebody to say, "Oh, I didn't fill that out," very rare. Like their social was put in there, a bunch of their personal information, and I would say the vast majority of the time, these people remember that they filled it out. And so, we have an entire script on our Legacy Life .co site under our agent portal that goes through, step by step how we work these leads. There's videos on there. I've recorded a bunch of them. Several other people have been on there. Lots of good info that you can get in addition to these calls on the agent portal on legacylife.co. But generally speaking, again, high level overview here getting started tonight. These people, they filled out trying to buy life insurance. We come in and help them realize that there may be a different price, or a way we can fix whatever was not being solved for them as they were just getting their AI generated quote done. And a lot of times, lots of good intent in people wanting to move forward and get a policy. So, I've done calls on what to do. I'll reiterate, the first 30 seconds is everything on these calls. So if you've never called one of these before, go back, watch some of these other videos, but just understand in general, the concept you have to understand when these people pick up the phone, they recognize ethos as that the name that they had done something. So you want to utilize that, but you want to quickly move on to the fact that you don't believe they got all of the options that they could as far as the life insurance they want, and we may have another option that would better suit their needs. And once you get your foot in the door, then you continue the rest of, getting their why, finding out what kind of coverage they had, if they already had submitted a policy, what, do they have a plan B? How long have they been looking? What was the experience like? I had two calls just today, even of these ethos leads where the person they had talked to before me. So a lot of times I'll buy the ones that are 31 to 90 days old. And whether it was the person that bought it the first time, so someone gets it 0 to 30, and then if it's not marked as sold, it gets sold again, somewhere after that first month. A lot of times that's where I come. But I had two just today. One said the person, absolutely sucked, basically, and so then they just started ignoring them, and the wife thought maybe the person was a scam or who knows what. So it's like probably was some sort of new agent that just screwed things up. And it was a very easy call for me to have with this person. I was very backed up, so I didn't one call close that. Sometimes I'll one call close ethos. A lot of times it'll end up being a two call close. So I gathered everything, calling that person tomorrow. All signs are pointing very well to a nice sale made. But that was even after somebody had called and halfway quoted something, screwed it up for a variety of reasons and whatnot. Called another person today. They said the other person had just called them 30 minutes ago. And they had even already put an application in, but they can't get any sort of answer of what happened. So the first thing I'll tell you is don't be scared off on these leads when they tell you that they have already, set it up. They already took care of it. They just put an application in. To me, no problem at all. Now, sometimes there's not going to be anything that we can do to change it. In fact, the second person I'm referring to, he put an application in with who I believe would be the same carrier I would have used, the same product I would have used, probably was quoted correctly. He's already done the blood work of the full med to get this specific $500,000 policy approved. I still am taking the time to help him call that company, figure out where it's at when his own agent has no idea where it's at. I'm going to take the extra mile of trying to figure that out because If things go sideways, I can still go help with a plan B of, moving to another carrier and knowing why. And in my time of caring to help this person, even as they realize I'm not even the agent that's going to be on this, I'll help you figure it out because I happen to be with this same carrier. But I was just doing right by the client. And the significant other was then saying, "Hey, I'd really like you to help me with something too." So just, you never know where these leads are going to go. Sometimes people will tell you they set something up, and we straight up can just help put them in a better position. If I can put somebody, if somebody could put my mom in a better position, or my sister, or, my cousin, or my best friend, if someone could call my pastor, and even if they had just set life insurance up, get them in a better position for the same cost, or get more coverage for the same price, or save some money for the same coverage, those are all good things. And we should, as agents, care to do right by our clients, just like everyone should. So don't be scared off if they've already set something up. That's like a high level thing I would encourage you to realize. A lot of people haven't; they've never even had life insurance before, or they were looking and they got a quote they didn't like. Some of them recently set something up. Don't be afraid to continue to figure out, well, did they get put in the best position possible? And then sometimes, like what happened to me today, you don't know if that's going to lead to a referral or getting a different policy, or there's a lot of things that can happen with that. So go into it trying to do right by the client, and just see if there's a sale to be made. Now, if there's not a sale to be made, that's okay. But more times than not, there's going to be a sale to be made within that. And if we can't put them in a better position, we leave them where they are. Like it's no harm, no foul. So I would encourage you, when you're calling these Ethos leads, have that in mind. That don't let it scare you if they have coverage. Figure out what they had. Sometimes it's as simple as apples to apples, just figuring out what they have and getting them, a better price, or the right product, or figure out why they needed it. Maybe they set up a term and it's very clear they should have had a permanent policy. Maybe they set up a small permanent policy and it's very clear, no, for the next 20 years they totally should have a term instead. So there's lots of reasons we can figure out why, maybe what they were quoted isn't right, or maybe what they thought they were going to set up isn't right. And there's just lots of avenues to reopen a conversation. So that's the first thing I would think of. You got to be prepared for the objections. Again, I've done these different calls on our trainings before at nauseum, of just being ready for the objections in the first 30 seconds. Your tone has to be good. You have to just be ready. Like, picture already that they're going to give you one of the objections. So you don't get on the call and, first of all, have no idea what you're going to say. You need to know what your first line is, and you need to know what you're going to say when they give you a common objection. So if you're calling and you have no idea what to say, you don't even know where the script is, like, we got to back up and we got to figure some of this stuff out first. If you kind of know what's going on, well, now be ready and be sharp right away. So be prepared that they're going to tell you they're at work and they don't have time to talk right now, and what you say to keep moving forward. Be prepared that they're going to say they already took care of it, and what to say moving forward. If anything surprises you, it should be when they just say, "Oh yeah, thanks for calling. I've been waiting to fix this." That should catch you off guard, not the other objections. And you want to keep moving forward, keep pushing forward. We're going to have other people on in the next couple of weeks that'll go through examples of these things on how they do it as well. So I'm ready for those objections, and all I'm caring about, and whether you're new or you're trying to up what you're doing, I would just think through, how many people can I get to answer the phone and keep them on for 30 seconds or more, regardless of where else that leads to the sale. That is the number one thing to start to work on, is how many people can I get to answer and they don't hang up on me until after 30 seconds are up. Because we can control a lot of that. Now, some people, I can tell I'm going to get hung up on before before I've even got to say my first opening line, after I, simply say their name, and they go, "What?" What do you need? Or, versus, "Yeah, this is John, who's this?" Just, you can sometimes tell. But even the ones that you think are super grumpy, you keep them on. You're just trying to find an opening to see if there's a place we can show them we can help. So you wanna push in a respectful way. But it's a little bit of a game. Like, when you go to the mall and you're looking for a white T-shirt, and you walk in and the person at the front of the store says, "Hi, can I help you find anything today?" And you say, "No, I'm just looking." Even though that's not true, you're not just looking. You're here for a white shirt specifically. If you would tell them that you're here for a white shirt, they could show you exactly where in the store the white shirt is. It would save you time and effort. But instead, You'd probably, like me, tell them, no, I'm just looking. And then you continue to wander around aimlessly until you yourself can finally find the white shirt, even though it would have saved time and energy if you wouldn't have done that. These people are doing the same things. They tell you they're busy at work, but they just answered the phone call. So if they answered the call, they're not too busy at work. They tell you they took care of it, but as soon as they realize that you can put them in a better position, all of a sudden that's not true anymore. Like, or they're not too taking care of it that they don't want to save any more money or get better coverage. So you just have to know the first objection they give is a bunch of BS. You just want to keep moving forward from there. Okay. So I would think that through. I would remember most of these people, like I said in the beginning, they have something that maybe they recently set up or they have something in mind that they're trying to set up. And you just got to keep going. And then you also have to understand a lot of these people, it kind of blows my mind, but like they, they mean well. They just, for whatever reason, have pushed it off. The example I'll even give some of my clients, after I've had to chase them around a little bit, and then they tell me they're sorry, and I kind of got the control back. But like right now on my vehicle, I have a crack in the windshield, and it's not going to cost me any money to fix. Like in the state, I don't know how this is everywhere else, but like in the state of Arizona, with how my car insurance works, I have a $0 deductible for getting a windshield replaced. Not going to affect my rates. Doesn't cost me anything out of pocket. And there are companies that want and they compete of who can be the one to change it. They'll pay me anywhere from $100 to $150 in a Visa gift card to allow them to be the one to file the claim. So, in other words, I'm going to make money by allowing somebody to fix my cracked windshield and have no downside effects whatsoever. That crack in that windshield probably happened 90 days ago. And my wife will probably know the exact date because, she's reminded me a few times of like, dude, when are you going to take care of the windshield? But it's just one of those things of like, do I know I need to do it? Yes. Does it logically make sense to call and make 100 and some dollars and let somebody come to my house and fix my windshield? Yes. But is it a burning priority to me? Or if I have other things happening, I just been allowing myself to be busy with other things for the last 3 months? Yes. That's how a lot of your ethos clients are. They mean well, it's not that they don't want coverage. It is important to them. It is a priority to them. They are just normal people like you and I, working most of them, having a family most of them, and just busy doing stuff. So, yes, they need life insurance, but they just haven't taken care of it yet. So, you have to understand working these ethos leads. Don't assume that they don't want this or, well, they abandoned the cart for a reason. They don't actually care about life insurance. None of that is actually true. They care about life insurance, they want it. You just have to catch them in their busy schedule and make it easy on them to move forward. So, you want to get good, those of you that have been doing ethos for a while or been doing virtual for a little while, and you want to up your game. You need to figure out, how do I come across as a sharp, successful agent that knows his or her stuff, and how can I communicate with confidence to these clients that I got their back, I know what I'm talking about, I'm going to fix their problem, and I'm going to keep it as easy as possible as I can on them. That's what you're trying to get across. You want to make more sales, make it clear to them you know your stuff, and you are going to keep it easy on them and walk them through what that looks like. So I try to use verbiage all the time, making it clear I will make this as easy as possible on them. Of, hey, just so next, it's a couple minutes, to walk through this pre-approval process, or hey, I know none of this is super fun, but I'll don't worry, I'll help you get this off your plate once and for all, so you can move on to more, more pressing needs. I'm throwing little comments like that in there so they understand, like, hey, I'm going to be quick, I'm going to be fast, I'm going to be proficient. This won't take a lot of time. I'm trying to get across to them, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to get them through it as pain-free as possible. So start to focus on some of that. And as we go here, guys, I'm going to go for another 5 minutes or so on a couple things, and then I'll leave another 5 minutes open for some questions. So I see I got one question Q&A coming in. If you have others you want me specifically, this will be my only time on this for this series. Let me know. I'll stay on a few extra minutes if we need. So if you got questions, you can throw them in the Q&A. That is open as well. So overall, master the first 30 seconds. Be ready for those objections. Understand these are busy, sharp, successful, working people. So this is not your final expense client, if you want to use, stereotypes, which there's all kinds of people in every one of these different lead types, but I would consider these more term type people, more working class people, a lot of younger people, busy people. So be short, be precise, be to the point, and come across confident that you know what the heck you're doing. If you don't, continue to work on it and learn how to know what you're doing. Utilize the help of your upline and all those things. But these people can tell if you know what you're talking about. These people can tell if you're confident in what you're saying. These people can tell if you are caring to keep things easy on them, or if it's coming across like you don't care how long this takes or how much it affects their day. So be in and out as quick and precise as you possibly can. Okay. Backing up for a second on maybe the most important part of working any of this stuff. So it sounds cool to be able to work from home. It sounds cool to have leads that you can call, and it's help. They already were trying to buy it. Now we can get them a better price and everything else. But if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to make the money. Okay. Um, I think the biggest hole that I see, both in mistakes I make myself and just other people from talking to other agents, either that I've worked with or even just hearing stories of people I haven't got to work directly with. Most people think they're working harder than they actually are, and respectfully, most people they say they want a level of success, but they're not willing to put in anywhere near the amount of effort it takes to get that success. So it's really easy to say, I want to have the biggest month, of my business. I want to double, my income next month that I've had before. I want to have this be the biggest year ever. This is the year I want to make six figures. This is the year I want to make multiple six figures. This is the year I'm going to issue this. This is the year I'm going to do that. It's really easy to say these things, but where is your level of work ethic and consistency towards those things? And again, these are things that I continue to still struggle with as well. So just don't kid yourself. Like if you want to, make a certain amount of money, if you want to issue pay 20, 30, 40, $50,000 in a month, it's going to take putting a lot more effort in, or at least concise and focused and dedicated and consistent effort than what most of us put in on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. So I would just encourage everyone to realize that if you're going to compare someone's success, you got to compare the work ethic of what they're doing as well. Because you might see a lot of the highlight stuff. You see it in our Legacy Life telegrams and everything else. Like, oh, it sounds cool when people are making big sales and they're writing a lot of business. But what you don't see is all the grind and the extras that is happening. And I would venture to bet every month in our Legacy Life top 10, the 10 people that made the most money more times than not were probably the 10 people that consistently worked the hardest as well. That's not always true, blanket statement, but just understand sometimes it might take having to work harder. I was having these same kind of conversations, with my wife as we were coming back from the trip. I'm tracking right now. I think if you log into your ARC back office, it'll tell you how much money you're tracking to make for the whole year, which is kind of cool. Mine is tracking to say 215,000 or 218,000, something like that today. That sucks to me because it was tracking at 250 or 255 like 60 days ago. So, like again, compete with wherever you're at. I've shared that with Nick many times. Like I very much want to work to figure out how to be depositing $300,000 to $400,000 in a year. Does that mean that it sucks to have 200,000? No, but it'd be great. That's where my goals are at. And I'm just sharing that as a real life example of, okay, you can track what you're doing, but it's going to take the effort for me to make. And this is the conversation I was having with my wife. For me to make 300,000 or 400,000 instead of 200,000, it's going to take a more focused effort, or more effort, or more leads, or a combination of all of these things. See, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting what I'm getting. So if we want something different, we're going to have to do something different. So, for example, I'm looking at maybe I need to go pick up more leads. Again, maybe I need to work more hours. Maybe I need to, consistently focus on the hours that I have to maximize the income producing activities of them. And so just constantly be looking at how you can, switch things up, because it doesn't matter how good you get at a lead type or all the knowledge that you want to learn on calls like this. Like at the end of the day, we got to go put the work in. If I had a dollar for every time I've heard of somebody coming to a training or getting on a call like this and learning like what to do, but then not ever going to do anything with it honestly, like there's a lot of things we could do with our Monday night. If we're not going to apply anything or like increase the effort or try to tweak something in a positive way, then honestly, these calls are pointless to get on. Like, I mean, it can excite you, and maybe maybe it's not totally pointless, but in my opinion, learning these things means nothing if we're not going to put the effort in to go and push forward. So yes, you can practice what to say. Yes, you got to have enough people to talk to, and there's things you can work on. But if you're not willing to put the work in and understand this is hard, just like anything in life is hard, you just got to put the effort in. So if you want to make a six-figure income working from home, you might have to work harder or more hours than you did to make whatever you're making at your job that you go to now. So if you want an exit strategy to do that, that's great, but like it's going to take effort, maybe more effort to go and do it. It's not just like, hey, we sit at home in our undies and work for 10 hours a week and make a six-figure income. Like that sounds good, but that doesn't exist. So like if you're looking for a way to get like so good you hardly have to work at all and you make a bunch of money, I don't know if that exists anywhere. But if you're looking for a real path to run on, and I think these leads are a great real path to run on, and you're willing to put the work in, there's plenty of money to be made from all of that as well. So let me pull up. That's my little soapbox for tonight. Hopefully that's helpful to a couple of you listening. How many leads do you have ballpark in your follow-up pile? Already had the first convo and now just need to get them on the phone to pitch because they missed the call too. Yeah, that's a good question. So you'll be organizing going through, like you talk to these people, a lot of times you're going to take it to a 2-call close, and then you are trying to get them back on the phone. Totally normal. That happens a ton with these. I'd say like half of them that you're chasing them back around just trying to catch them. I would proficiently and professionally continue to follow up with them a minimum of 5 to 10 different times. And maybe every day, maybe every other day, especially for the first week to 2 weeks. Maybe you let a week go by, message them another 1 to 2 times. I would try to hit them different personalities, like maybe a very direct message, maybe kind of like a really soft message, maybe a funny message, maybe just a logical message of like why it makes sense for them to call you back and finish with what you talked about. But yeah, I would stay on that. My follow-up pile, I just cleaned some of this out today. I'll just show you guys. Um, this is my follow-up pile of people I've talked to in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I don't know, so there's what, 20 of those there maybe right now that still need an answer one way or the other. And then I just kicked like 5 of them to the curb of, all right, I'll deal with this maybe in a few months if I get bored or something. So, I guess that's a good way to look at this. If you're thinking of this, how many people do you have in a follow-up? Like how many people didn't answer your call? Like you got a hold of them. You're supposed to present them numbers or find out after they're talking to their spouse, are they yes or no, in or out? How many people then you just never have gotten a final answer to? Like, because if that answer isn't 10 or 20 or more people, like we're probably not calling enough people and working enough hours to have a real shot at landing some different sales. So you want to have a good amount of those in there. What I'm finding, yeah, the people that are making like full-time income are buying anywhere from 50 to 100 or more leads a week of these kind of leads. Some of them even have a second or a third lead type that they do as well. So usually the answer to how do I make more money is you buy more leads, you make more dials, you consistently work more hours, a combination of those types of things. Hopefully that's answered that one there. So hopefully that's helpful. Any other questions while we're wrapping up for tonight, guys? Again, there's no magic secret to a lot of this. It's just how consistent can you stay at sitting down, making enough calls, finding enough people that are actually serious to want your help, and get them to stay on for more than 30 seconds where you don't screw it up and you find an opening that they realize you actually can help them and we can get them into a better place. So that'd be my quick feedback on some of that as we go through. You'll hear from some other personalities, some other people that are having success with these leads over the next couple of weeks. That's just some of my real quick open feedback to all of that. So if we don't have any other questions, I'll get everything closed up for tonight. But I appreciate everyone for jumping on. Hope everyone's having a great week. If we can help you, reach out. Let us know what we can do. There's so many successful people on this team that know what they're talking about, having success. It's just an honor to be a part of such a wonderful championship team of people that care, and we're doing what's right by the clients. We're trying to do what's right to the agents, and it's a really cool culture to be a part of. So I am grateful for the Legacy Life family. I hope all of you, continue to have a great rest of June. Continue moving forward to crushing your goals throughout 2025. And I just appreciate them for taking time out of their busy nights away from their families to jump on. So God bless everyone. Thanks for jumping on, and look forward to chatting with everyone soon.